You've tuned into Unpause Your Life with Dr. Callie Estes. Your access to success strategies and more to help you move onward and upward with your life. Listen in each week as she interviews others who have really taken their essence to the next level and truly unpaused their life. Now here's your host, Dr. Callie Estes.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. This is Dr. Callie Estes, and I am founder of the Addictions Academy, the Addictions Coach, and Rehab Rescue. Welcome to Unpause Your Life. This is a great podcast where we showcase people who have done something extraordinary with their life. I welcome you, and I hope you enjoy all of our guests.
On my way, found a reason to wake up another day.
Good morning, guys. You're listening to Dr. Callie Estes of Unpause Your Life, founder and CEO of the Addictions Coach and the Addictions Academy. I am so excited today. My guest is Peter Shankman, and you know him from HARO, Help a Reporter Out. So let me tell you what you don't know. The New York Times has called him a rock star who knows everything about social media and then some. He's a 5-time best-selling author, entrepreneur, and corporate keynote speaker focusing on customer service and the new and emerging customer and neuroatypical economy. He has 3 startup launches and exits under his belt. He is recognized worldwide for radically new ways of thinking about the customer experience, social media, PR, marketing, advertising, and ADHD. He is the founder of HARO, Help a Reporter Out. He has the ShankMinds Breakthrough Network, which is an elite online mastermind of thought leaders, business experts, and change makers, and Faster Than Normal, the internet's #1 podcast on ADHD. Please welcome Peter.
Hi, good to be here.
Good, I'm so glad to have you. So tell my audience a little bit about you, other than what I read, who you are, why you're doing what you're doing, and just give them some background.
So I started my career at America Online. I was one of the founders of the newsroom there back in the 90s, a long time ago. And from there, moved back to New York, started my first PR firm on my own, went out on my own, started my first PR firm, sold it 3 years later, consulted for a while, started a second company, sold that, eventually realized that I talked to everyone, and that's, at the time, didn't know it was because of massive ADHD, but now I do. And my talking to everyone led me to one heck of a Rolodex and database, and reporters who I knew and for the PR world and all that would call me and, hey, I'm doing a story on whatever, who do you know? And of course that led to my starting a newsletter to help people. And that led to HARO. And HARO wound up blowing up and sort of changed my life. And that was acquired in 2010, I guess, 3 years after I started it. And then from there, I did consulting. And one of the things I tried to work on was why it was so easy to start companies for me, but not necessarily so easy to do things like, I started a company with no problems, but I would always forget to take out the trash, right? Things like that. And so, over time, I realized that a lot of what I was doing came to, because I have ADHD and because my brain works faster, it's a lot easier for me to do things like, that other people would find scary or difficult, but the normal things tend to get a little lost. And so from there, I started, a podcast called Faster Than Normal, where I was able to, find that other people with ADHD with neurotypical brains are the same way, and that we, having a huge brain is great, but you need to be able to use it. And so that podcast led to a book published by Random House. We've had over 200 guests on the podcast. The book became a bestseller, and now I'm a consultant to big companies who are trying to figure out how to hire neurotypicals, ADHD, autism, spectrum, Asperger's, all that, because these people are the most creative people in the world, and 35% of the workforce is going to be neuroatypical in the next 10 years. So I'm keeping busy and I have a lot of fun.
So I love the work you're doing with ADHD, because my brain thinks like that. I did this little exercise online, and I think 800 words per minute, and the average person thinks 400. So every time I'm talking to somebody, I'm like, just get to the point. Just get to the point. And I'm standing there and I'm like, I hear what you're saying, but I'm bored. I've already checked out. Like in my mind, I'm like, do this, do this, do this, do this. And I'm still answering them. And they say, how do you do that? So let's talk about the ADHD brain for a second. How many things do you generally have going on at the same time?
Well, I'm a consultant and I'm running Fast and Known podcast. I am a talking head on the major TV networks. I consult for half a dozen clients. I'm an influencer. So I probably, at least a half a dozen things in my professional life at any given time. And then also I'm a single dad to a 6-year-old girl. So that's keeping me pretty busy as well.
Wow. So you do have a lot of stuff on your plate. Now, out of everything you're doing, what do you find the most enjoyable? What holds your attention the longest?
That's a good question. I'd say, definitely the time with my daughter is the most fun. But professionally, I think that my speaking when I'm on stage, I enjoy that the most. I really love being on stage. It's just so much fun. Talking to people and helping people. It's just a great feeling. Really, I love doing it. I'm very fortunate.
Okay. And where does your inspiration come from? What makes you get out of bed in the morning and say, this is what I want to do?
I enjoy helping people. And I enjoy working to change things for the better. And, that's one of the reasons HARO exists. It's pretty much why I've done everything. And most importantly, I like to have fun when I'm doing it. So as long as I'm having a good time, that to me is hands down the most fun. Okay. If you're having a good time and you're enjoying yourself, what you're doing, it's totally worth it. So yeah, that's where I believe. And I think that anything that you can do, if you're not having fun with your job, considering how much time you spend at it, you have to ask yourself what's wrong and how do you fix that? Because, if the only reason you're working is to complain about your job when you're not working, you got to work on that.
When did you know you weren't going to be a typical 9 to 5?
Probably after I left America Online. I was so excited about America Online and it was so great that it was one of those things where I'm like, this is awesome. I love this. This is great. And then my next job, it was a regular job as an editor at a newspaper or at a magazine. I'm like, okay, I have to check in by 8:30 and I have 45 minutes for lunch and there's an after lunch editorial meeting and what is this, Russia? And I'm like, this is not I don't do well with this at all. And that was a wake up call for me. So I've been on my own since 1998.
I have a client that calls it prison. He's like, this is prison.
But you know what?
I'm stuck at a desk.
Yes, it is for me as well. But there are also a lot of people who need that sort of balance and need that sort of familiarity and that constant. And that's great. I don't begrudge them that at all. It just doesn't work for me.
I hear you. I'm usually talking to my clients at the pool.
Yeah. And again, whatever works. You just have to enjoy your, you have to enjoy what you're doing and be able to do it in such a way that you are happy. That's really the end of the day.
Okay. And when did you know you had ADHD? How did you figure that out?
I always knew I was different. When I was growing up, it was called sit down, you're disrupting the class disease. Right. And then, once I got older and ADHD became a thing, I got diagnosed at 35. So I got diagnosed late. But as soon as I got diagnosed, I'm like, holy shit, everything makes sense now. Everything makes sense.
Yeah. It's so funny because I didn't know I had it. I was always like, I'm just a go-getter. I've had 5 companies, blah, blah, blah. It's just not a thing, and when you said in the beginning, taking out the trash, I don't cook, I don't clean, I don't do laundry because whatever I start, I'm doing like 7 things at once and finish none of them. But if I'm working and building a brand or a company, I'm in. So I actually took a test online about 3 years ago with my husband because he's got severe ADHD. I'm like, just take this quiz. Just take it. You have ADD. He goes, well, let's take it with me. We took it together. Had 17 questions. I scored 15 out of 17. And I sat there and went, holy shit, I've got ADD. Like I never realized it. And he had like 5. And I'm like, how is that possible? You have worse ADD than me, but we have it reversed. I'm ADD. He's ADHD. So it's so interesting because where my deficits are, his strengths are. Have you found that? Have you found certain people you gravitate towards because they take care of your deficit?
No question about it. I've had my assistant for going on 12 years now, and I haven't been able to. I haven't been allowed to. She took away right access to my calendar 10 years ago, I think. I'm just not allowed to do it anymore because I screwed up. So she runs it.
That's awesome. That's funny.
And it works. You have to find those people who are great at what you're not great at, and I try to do that both professionally and personally. You want to be, especially professionally, you want to be great at certain things and not waste time doing things you suck at. Let someone else do it.
How are you with internet technology?
I'm great. I've been a tech head since I was like 5 years old, and it makes perfect sense because for me, being online and being able to connect and do everything like that is part of what makes me I think, who I am. It's
Mm-hmm.
that faster brain works better. I'm much better at a kiosk than I am with having to talk to another person.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. And what is this event you've got going on, the ShankMinds? What is that? What's that all
So I
about?
run a group called ShankMinds, and we are a professional group of people from all over the world we've about 150 people, and we do everything in the world. We're accountants, we're lawyers, we're bankers, we're creative directors, we work on our own, we work for someone else, we do everything. But the key is that we're all creative and we're all entrepreneurial at heart, and it's nice to have, when you're entrepreneurial at heart, it's kind of hard to have a tribe, right? Because you work for yourself. So this is our tribe. And twice a year we do full-on conferences with speakers and with people who join us and all that stuff. So on September 19th, we're doing our 10th one in New York City. It's called ShankMinds X, and it's at shankminds.com/NYCX. You could sign up. And we have a phenomenal list of speakers, including Scott Monty, who's our opening keynote. He's the guy who brought technology to the auto industry, and a bunch of other speakers, including the voice of Swiper from Dora the Explorer. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a full day, and it's for there's the people who are neurodiverse and not neurodiverse, but people who are really, really good at being creative and want a tribe to connect with.
That's awesome. And then do you have a mastermind too that goes with that, or something along that level?
That's actually part of the mastermind. The mastermind is shankminds.com, and that is the online component. And 99.9% of the online component, we have a Facebook group and we talk all the time. We have Zoom calls, video Zoom calls twice a week. So you can, there's really a good accountability there. And then we do the in-person things a couple of times a year. But shankminds.com is the online component.
Awesome. And we'll put that up there too for anybody that wants to get involved with that as well. And then I know you have a bunch of books out. Tell us about the books you have. Where everyone can find those.
4 of them are on marketing and PR. They're Zombie Loyalists is the biggest seller in that aspect. Using great service to create rabid fans. It's all about how to do phenomenal customer service to bring your fans back and bring them back. And then the other side of the coin is I have my first book on ADHD, which has become a bestseller, called Faster Than Normal, and that's blowing up pretty big. So that's a lot of fun too.
Okay. Excellent. And then you mentioned you do PR. So tell me about that as well.
So I used to run a PR firm. That was really how I started my career. And that sort of, that led to starting HARO. So yeah, I still do PR. I don't do that much of it, but I'm a fan of good PR. I think that people who know how to do public relations are a rare breed, because most of them suck at it. And so if you're really good at PR and, you actually enjoy doing it, that's a win. There are very few people who do.
Very nice. Okay. And is there anything else our audience should know about you specifically? Any diversities you've overcome? Anything unique about you?
The ADHD was big because, growing up, again, I didn't have a lot of anything to really get through. And then, so for me, to be able to get back to be where I am today, having ADHD, I had the social acuity of a turnip. It was difficult, right? I had a tough childhood, and my parents loved me. I still love them. They're great people, but they didn't really understand. They weren't neurodiverse, and it was hard for them to say, why is he the way he is? And so,
right.
So being the way I am now is a lot better. But yeah, it was difficult, no doubt. It was tough.
So do you think that having what we would call a deficit, because that would be considered like a deficit, has actually propelled you to become as creative and as impressive and attained as many goals as you have?
I think that having a diverse brain is one of the best possible things you could have, because it teaches you how to be different, how to be creative, how to have fun, and how to do things better than most other people, right? And having grown up with that, I think it's been tremendously beneficial to me. And I wouldn't, it was difficult, like I said, but I would not change a thing at all, because it was hands down the greatest learning lessons came from being neurodiverse and learning how to overcome that.
That's awesome. And what tidbits could you give our audience if they're overcoming some sort of adversity, how to harness it and do something?
It gets better. So number one, it gets better. But number two, you have to set up, when you have a faster brain, essentially if someone gave you if you were driving a Honda all your life and someone gave you a Lamborghini and said, hey, Here's a Lamborghini. Go have fun. If you drove it like you drove a Honda, where you had to floor it to get on the highway, you'd be dead. You'd crash into a tree in 5 seconds. You have to understand how to drive your faster brain. And so one of the ways that I've done that, and I didn't realize I was doing it all my life, but I have been, is I come up with rules and regulations for myself. I have what I call life rules, and they have to be observed. I have to exercise every morning. If I don't get up early and exercise, my day is just less, right? I need to create that dopamine in my brain that settles me, that allows me to focus, allows me to control, and I have a much better time if I do that. So exercise is key. Getting enough sleep is key. 8 hours a night, you have to do it. You have to, if it means you go to bed early, go to bed early. It'll change your life. One of the biggest ones is elimination of choice. When we're presented with 400, when you have a differential brain, when you're presented with 400 different options, you're not going to get an answer, right? So I eliminate choice as much as possible. My closet, for instance, has 2 sides to it. One says office/travel. The other says speaking/TV. It's actually labeled. Office/travel has t-shirts and jeans. Speaking/TV has a button-down shirt, jacket, and jeans. That's it. My suits, my vests, my sport coats, all that stuff. That hangs out in my daughter's closet. Because if I had to get up every morning and look at this huge thing, oh my God, that sweater. I remember that sweater. Laura gave me that sweater. I wonder how she's doing it. 3 hours later, I'm naked in the living room on Facebook and I haven't left the house. You have to understand yourself and eliminate choice wherever possible. And the last one is to really understand that with a faster brain comes the ability to make mistakes much, much quicker. Neurodiversity is very similar and very close to addiction. I quit drinking several years ago, not because I would go out and get drunk every night, but because, like most things, I don't have the ability to moderate, right? I have 2 speeds. I have namaste and I'll cut a bitch. And that's it. I have no middle ground. I have no middle ground at all. And so, because of that, I don't have 1 drink. I have 8 drinks. I don't have 2 slices of pizza. I eat the pizza, right? There's no leftover pizza does not exist in my house. It never has. And so you have to understand that as, there are things that can get you into trouble, right? And your faster brain is great, but you have to know how to drive it. You have to put those rules and regulations in play to make sure you do.
I'm laughing because I have 2 looks. I have homeless and 5-star and nothing in between. Yep, because exactly. It's like, that's it. There's nothing other exists for me. And people are like, well, just throw on a t-shirt and jeans. And I'm like, there is no t-shirt and jeans. You get homeless, you get 5-star.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome. So it's very cool to connect with you because I feel like people like us, they're hard to find because you end up with people that are very, very different and people that have certain sets of rules and regulations. And I've always bucked the system because I felt the system didn't accommodate me as opposed to trying to fit into the system that just didn't work for me. The more I tried to fit, the worse it got. Did you find that?
Is that fitting in is what they tell you to do, but it's a mistake. It can really hurt you.
Yeah. And I've always said creativity doesn't come from following the rules. Creativity comes from what if we tried this or what if we did that or this isn't working. And I've always found that's what helped me to be successful. So anyone that's listening, what would be your number 1 piece of advice for people to be successful?
If you don't like where you are, move. You're not a tree. You can go anywhere you want and do anything in this world. You just have to understand that you have to go do it. So many people don't do it because they spend all their time talking about doing it and never actually go out and do it, right? You might have to find new friends. A lot of times people don't do things because they get pulled down by the people they already have, right? But if you can't change the people around you, you have to change the people around you. You have to work the way you want to work, do what you want to do, and you'll be happy at it. If you're happy, you'll be successful. Right? But don't waste time complaining or bitching. Just go out there and do it. Life is way too short.
That's awesome. Very awesome. Well, don't go anywhere. I want to thank you for coming on the show. And we're going to put all your information up for everybody to reach. They can check out your mastermind group, your live event, all the books you have, and connect and interact with you.
Yeah.
So quick, give us your social media handles so that they could find you. We'll put everything up, though.
I am at Peter Shankman on all of the socials. And you can find me everywhere, including Peloton.
I don't know how you like Peloton. I tried so hard. I was in Dallas.
I'm a junkie.
I can't. I just can't. I can't. Maybe it's because I used to teach it. I got so bored. I'm sitting on it. I'm like, okay, I don't like that instructor. Flip. Okay, I don't like that instructor. Flip. Okay, I don't like that instructor. Flip.
I'm sorry. We'll never be able to date. No, it's I'm on it probably about an hour and a half a day. It's my morning workout on the days I'm with my daughter, which is more than half the week. And I can't, go out for a run because she's young. So that's my workout. It's the greatest thing ever.
I can't. I have a boxing instructor. I have to have interaction and someone yelling.
I lift. I have a strength training coach and I lift with her 3 times a week, but my cardio is if I'm not outside, I'm on that bike. That bike is the greatest thing in the world.
Oh my God. Well, thank you again for coming on. And you are listening to Unpause Your Life with Peter Shankman, my guest today. Check him out at ShankMinds.com. Hey everyone, thanks again for listening. I really hope you enjoyed the show today. Head on over to iTunes and Apple Podcasts and leave a comment or review of what you think. Or contact us at 1-800-706-0318. If you want to be on our show, feel free to email or call. And if you have a topic, feel free to email or call as well.
Thanks for listening to Unpause Your Life. For show notes and more, head on over to unpauseyourlife.com.
Big shout out to recoveryinnovators.com for help producing this show. Thank you guys.
I took a walk down the long road where they said that I shouldn't go. On my way found a reason to wake up another day. But they needed to show you all the things that you won't do. Find faith or religion, but nothing to show for it. No need to escape in love with my pain. I may be awake, but I'm alive, still alive, and I won't be bound by your mistake. No, I won't be your enemy, trapped at the gate. Bring me to life, put me to death. Just give me something that's just not so hard to believe. To believe. To believe. I took a walk down the dark road where they said that I shouldn't go. I knew the dangers of flying. Now I'm so far from